Hey, what's going on, guys? And today in this video I wanted to do a video review for the 10-inch Sony subwoofer. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'll walk you through my setup. I'll kind of do a demo of the subwoofer. We'll play some stuff here on the TV in a bit, and then I'm going to walk you through the actual settings on the subwoofer itself. So let's start with this subwoofer. This actually isn't overly large and actually does provide quite a bit of bass for my space. I actually have an older Logitech subwoofer here that I had from my PC setup from a Z5000 series, older setup, almost over 10 plus years old now. And that was always a big Kahuna subwoofer that I've used for music and just watching things over the years. And this is probably the first subwoofer that I've gotten outside of something for like a car in a very long time. So overall, I'm very impressed with this. Some things to keep note, and I was recommended that you have this plugged into a dedicated outlet. So that's the first thing, is if you're planning to plug this into maybe like an extension, power strip, that may not be ideal just because of the power that this is producing. So as you can see here, I'm basically utilizing a power strip for other things, and I have the subwoofer directly plugged into the outlet. You have an indicator light here in the back. If it turns green, that means it's currently active. If it turns red, that means it's kind of basically in its off passive mode, but yet still plugged in. Now I'm going to pull this out just to show you some of the options on the back. One thing that I found in this particular setup is the cable that this came with to connect the actual subwoofer, in my case, was actually too short. This may not be the case for you, but I have a rare circumstance where my receiver is way up here on this massive tower sort of setup I have here. We actually set this up for a retro gaming setup. I've got all my old retro consoles, an old retro CRT TV, but then I've got a newer LG OLED here. So I figured with the space that I have in this cabinet, why not utilize this spot up here and just kind of conceal most of the wires behind, some of which I still need to work on. But overall, I have this connected to the receiver here, but the cable length was not long enough to go from the rear of the receiver here down to the subwoofer. It was basically almost barely making it, and I actually had to have the subwoofer over to the right, and it wouldn't allow me to line up my towers exactly where I wanted them to go. So what I ended up doing is just buying a replacement cable. Works perfectly fine. On the rear here, you have some options for connecting speakers, so you could connect them directly through the subwoofer here. You've got both the red and the blacks. You have some options here for the amount of power the actual subwoofer puts out. And then you also have a ratio here of how many hertz it's putting out. So currently it's at 200. And then we have some settings here for auto on and off. So basically this is currently in normal mode. You can go in reverse mode. I'm not 100% on the differences of those two, but this power option here allows you to either be in constant power or have it be in standby power. So right now, because I'm not playing anything, this actually just went into standby. I was playing something prior to starting the recording. So now that this is in standby, all I have to do is play some music through the receiver, play a movie or whatever, and it's immediately going to turn on and we'll start getting our effect. Other than that, you just have your standard power cable coming from the bottom. So let's actually, I'm going to put this back into its original spot, and I'll just kind of walk you through the full setup, and then we'll do a quick actual sound demo. So I'm utilizing Sony's 2 tower speakers. I have one here, and then I've got another one on the exact opposite side of the full setup. I'm additionally using Dolby's up-firing speakers, which sit very nicely on top of these towers. And then for the rear, I have 2 Sony bookshelf speakers, as you can see here on the corners. Now, in addition to that, I got these movie theater seats, which fit quite nicely into the space, and I was able to add this amplifier, which wirelessly connects over to a little transmitter here. And I just set this up yesterday, so that's why it's kind of lazily hanging here. But this essentially has a splitter cable that then connects into a second output on my receiver. So the great thing about this Sony receiver, if you get matching components, is this has 2 subwoofer outs. So if you really wanted to, you could actually get a second one of these subwoofers, and for a setup like this, I could have put this like on the other side and I'd get insane bass. But what I'm actually doing is utilizing some transducers inside of these seats. So I've not only got the bass coming from this guy, but I've also got bass going through the entire seat itself. So it really gives you an amazing effect when watching movies and things like that. I also have Sony's center speaker here. So this really gives me a true 512 setup in terms of being able to utilize Dolby Atmos and get the full effect for sound, as well as obviously having the seat shake when watching any movies. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play a little demo here and we'll kind of go through it.
Help is on the way.
Blue 15 going in. This is Blue 12 accelerating to attack speed. The water is exposed. Focus all firepower.
Over the lake, their attack.
Wait for the takedown. Almost there.
Imperial Walker has been taken out.
Yes! Walker down!
So that was a really good demo. You know, obviously having this just completely crash into the ground, I mean, the base just completely goes off and vibrates. And as you can see, this also turned up back to green as soon as we started playing. So overall, really awesome setup. I highly recommend the full Dolby setup if you're going to be doing something like this. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video review.